So in this article, there's other stocks too, but keep in mind I don't know what's pushed them up so much. I don't know if it was this article, but well, they are producing. They're in their mine. They did lose some money, but that was last year. Now there's a sharp contrast. They made a healthy profit, nearly 31 a pound, because uranium is they haven't really had its full capacity of these nuclear power plants. So the price of uranium, it's kind of like oil. It obviously like fluctuates. So URG, yes, they could end up going down a little bit, obviously. But as we're looking, they are at lows. And it is a slow ride, but I don't know. I don't see them getting lower than 50 cents. And they could reverse split or something, but that means they'll up the price of the stock to get listed on different, like the NASDAQ, but they might not need to do that. They're producing mine, and they've been a penny stock for a while, so we'll see what happens with them. But then you also have EU. That is another one, and deep in the heart of Texas. And so they're Texas, Wyoming, South Dakota, New Mexico, an average upside potential of 191%. Now, obviously, these are just these are not always true. And I mean, they can also take, years. So it's not as though this would happen overnight. And trim the price target from 7 to 275. Their revenue more than doubled in 2024, reaching 58 million. From 2023, they had 22 million. Due to selling uranium at higher prices. So, once again, these are very dependent. But here's EU now. They had a bad earnings like a month ago, and it really plopped them. So, you could say EU is another uranium buy, according to analysts. And then they put NNE on here, which now NNE is not a uranium miner. This one's going to be those small nuclear reactors. Also doing like uranium fuel technology. And I showed you the revenue of EU and the revenue of URG. This is a revenue-less company. No revenue. They're doing speculative things, speculative development. But they're at a $45 price target, which you could say is kind of weird. Their main focus is the Kronos microreactor, which would be the company's first commercial product. No commercial products yet. With strong financials and ongoing efforts to secure licenses, the company is preparing for market entry. So this guy could be crazy eventually, but now, and especially with tariff stuff, it depends. But if the news is kind of saying stuff that China and us might go back to friends, that things are that Scott guy, I guess there was somebody that was convincing Trump to do all this tariffs, and now they're like sneaking around him. I don't know, but those are speculative. And that NNE, this one is uranium mining and nuclear fuel components and the low-enriched uranium. Wait a minute, the investment noted that Centrus is close to becoming the only large-scale U.S. producer of Lu and Halo. Those are how they can enrich the uranium so that it can be used in the nuclear plants and small nuclear reactors. They're going to need $3.4 billion government fund to proceed. So that Lu, I don't know. I gotta write these guys down. I used to do swing things with them, but anyway, so that's Lu, and then Oklow's another one like NNE, totally speculative on getting their small nuclear reactors running. As you can see, speculation was fucking wonderful. Back in the times. I'm hoping the times go back. And then NuScale Power, I've been in them for a while. I like them. Got in February of last year. So these guys, they're on a definite low. And they already do this. They have their small nuclear reactors in Romania. And they're the closest to regulatory approval. Although Chris Wright, the energy director, says stuff on the internet all the time. regulatory smegulatory, but Oklo, SMR, NNE, those ones speculative. UEC, I like it a lot. Deep in the heart of Texas. Ooh, Paraguay as well. A buy rating at 1050. My God, successfully process and package uranium at its URG plant in Wyoming after starting production at Christensen Ranch. This was a major milestone for the company. God, uranium could truly be the next oil. And I don't know. Am I crazy? Maybe. Some people might say I'm crazy. That's a guess. I'm betting that uranium could become the next oil based on how much they talk about nuclear energy. Canada, I don't know about those runs right now. DNN, that's a Canadian mine too. Euro is Canadian. Not that there's anything wrong with Canadian companies, I guess we could see, but right now, the way Trump talks about mining, energy independence, I feel like our mines are going to be good enough, maybe. And then UUUU, God, I'm very confident on this one. And they've been on a rise as of late. Now they're dipped, which is perfect. So you want to also keep in mind, when I post stuff sometimes, I'm talking about stuff that's on a high. And I do try to include stuff that's similar or stuff I also talk about on a low. But you don't want to buy things on a high. You actually want to buy things when they're in the red. That's the best time to be buying things. And everything, especially uranium, always goes into the red at some point, as you can see there. But this guy, they've got that raw earth. And they also have some metals. And something they're going to be doing, but they obviously need government support. And I assume right market conditions means like people investing in them maybe, or also like the ability to buy the materials they need for like the right cost, all those kinds of things. But the government support. So if they're going to have this White Mesa mill, they want to scale it. This is going to be the rare earth, developing the tech needed to produce 6 out of the 7 rare earth. So this would be like a processing factory. They're also doing something with a magnet production, which is probably has also to do with this and their metals. So they're not just right now they are just mining it, but they want to get into the processing, which will be huge for them. They could definitely have a lot of potential here. UUU. Cameco, that's a good one. CCJ, and it has a little dividend. BWXT, that one is these nuclear components, the small nuclear reactors, and actually just this one's for anything really nuclear power plants. BWXT is doing. They're a pricier one, for sure. Yeah, and they've been up. Yeah, you could say that they don't really fluctuate much. They're pretty established. So, I mean, I wouldn't call $98. I mean, that's a pretty volatile, but definitely not as volatile as Oklo, SMR, and NNE, because these guys are making revenue here. So they have a target of 145. That one's not bad. Not bad at all. BHP, that's one of my favorite mines. And they got to open up the copper mine in Arizona, which is a joint venture with another miner, a lithium miner, and all sorts of miner, Rio. So BHP, I really think they're due to go back up. And they also have a 5.29% dividend. So these guys, and they have one of the world's largest uranium deposits in Australia. So they're going to be an Australian miner, but they're mining in America. So BHP, another one. I think that they're right on this one. I like them. And that would be all 12.